Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another book review. Today we're going to be talking about this book right over here. Reef fish identification, Florida, Caribbean, and Bahamas. So living in Florida, I do a lot of saltwater fishing. Being a multi-species fisherman and a life lister, I'm trying to catch as many different species as possible. And very often I catch a fish species that I'm not sure what it is, and that's where this book really does come in handy. And also, it's always good just to double check, even if I'm pretty sure I know what it is. So this is the best book I've been able to find that covers the saltwater fish here in Florida. Obviously, it covers a larger portion than just the state of Florida, but being in Florida, that's kind of my the main way that I use this. So what I would like to do is show you the inside of this book a little bit, show you a couple of the really nice features that this book has, why I like it, how I use it, and why I think you should get it too. So let's go ahead and let's jump into the inside of this thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into the book. If we open it up, we get a fairly basic little map of the area that this book covers. So we got Florida up here, we got the Caribbean over here, and the Bahamas somewhere up here. And it's color coded, which I thought was a little weird, not because it's color coded, but it's color coded based on the official language of each country, which I think is a little odd for a fish identification book. But anyway, let's keep moving here. We can skip through these parts here and whatnot. So the first thing that's kind of interesting here is the book is broken up into kind of families of fish, and they have these very kind of basic drawings. But if you're not sure on what your fish is, this is a really good starting point because you can just kind of look at your fish, look at the shape, and see what it matches. So we got discs and ovals here first, slash colorful or whatnot. So butterfly fish, angelfish, and sturgeonfish, and it covers all the different families of fish that you're going to encounter. And if we keep going here, the next kind of important thing, at least in my opinion here, is these kind of diagrams which show you the different things that you're going to have to look for in order to identify the fish. So here we got the different markings and what kind they are. So barring, stripes, bands, and then the different points of the fish. So obviously dorsal fin, tail fin, the margin of the tail fin, bottom of the border of the tail. So later on when we look at the individual fish, they're going to give kind of very specific details of the fish and what to look for. So you got to know where they're located on the fish. And then if we kind of keep flipping through here, we're going to get into the first group. So the discs, ovals, slash colorful. So the butterfly fish. Now it gets a little bit more specific on the different types of butterfly fish, different types of angelfish. So the one that I would like to show you is actually over here, and I'll show you kind of why I picked this one. So each basically fish is going to have usually a couple different pictures. So here we have an adult angelfish and a juvenile French angelfish, and each one is going to have these little drawings next to them. If we look over on the left, the first point here are distinctive features, and it's going to give you distinctive features for the fish, but that could also be for a couple different species. However, bolded here, it has a number 1, and it's going to show you the feature that differentiates this fish from other species. So up here for the French angel, it's going to have a rounded tail, and then if we look over at the little drawing, there has a 1 and it's pointed to a rounded tail. And then for the juveniles here, it's going to have a rounded tail with a yellow border that forms an oval. And it might be a little hard to see, but it has a 2 there. It's pointed to a little border around the tail. That's grayed out here in the black and white picture. But over here you can see the yellow border around the tail. And now just take a look at this fish, and let me flip the page and look at this fish. Now, it looks almost identical. This is a juvenile French angel, and this is a juvenile gray angel. So it looks really similar. The drawing is, again, super similar, but if we look at the points here, we got to look at number 3 here, and we'll go up here, square cut tail with white to transparent margin. So square tail, this is basically a little straight line. If we go back to this one, it's a little rounded. And also it has that full little margin there, and over here it just shows you the little border here that is only transparent. You can kind of see that here in the tail. So each fish species is going to have at least one, but usually a couple different pictures that show you the different coloration, the different patterns that these fish might have. Obviously, an adult gray angel looks completely different than a juvenile gray angel. But I love how it has these little pictures next to all of them. that show you exactly what to look for on the fish. So if we keep going now, we're going to flip through a pretty good amount. I picked out some other things I wanted to show you. The damselfish. So damselfish, I don't know about you guys, but for me they're extremely difficult to identify. I mean, look at a three-spot damselfish, look at a cocoa damsel, look at a Bo Gregory. They all look really, really similar. Even with books, I have a hard time identifying these guys. But they do have, once again, pictures of what these guys look like at different points in their lives, as well as the little drawings with the key features on what to look for, and that really helps a lot. So with the cocoa, the one thing that sticks out here to me is the dot on the tail, but also has a couple other markings that differentiate this fish from a couple of the other damselfish species that look really, really similar to it. And if we keep going, also wanted to point out the parrotfish, especially this page here in particular. So this is going to be all about the red band parrotfish, and that's what an adult looks like. So that's probably what you're going to see most descriptions of a red band parrotfish showing you. But look at all these other pictures. They look nothing like that picture. But these are all red band parrotfish. So it shows you pictures of what these guys look like at different points in their lives, different colorations, different patterns. And then it also has these diagrams. So we got the initial phase of the red band parrotfish. You're going to be looking for that little white dot there, and you can see the white dot there. You can see the white dot there. You can see the white dot there. And then once they transition into their terminal phase, they no longer have that white dot, so there's no white dot on the diagram. But now you're looking for a couple other things. So let's see what number one is. Small yellow blotch with two or more black spots on upper forebody. So it looks like we have that there, and we have that there in the diagram. And then number two, usually salmon to orange or yellow band from corner of the mouth to below the eye. So we have that there, and we have that over in the drawing, which is not visible in the juveniles. So this book does an excellent job in showing you what these look like at different points in their lives, as well as these diagrams, which come in really, really handy. And basically all the fish look like that. All the pictures and descriptions are the same, at least in the same style, I should say. And then once we get here toward the back, just your basic index of scientific names if you want to search something up real quick. And like most of us, we don't know the scientific names, so it also has a common name index. And then the other part here, this book was really made more for like scuba divers and like reef enthusiasts instead of fishermen, but it has a little logbook where you can write down the date you saw it, the location, and some notes. So maybe for fishermen, you could probably use this as, if you catch a fish, you can kind of check it off there. I don't use that, but yeah, this is an excellent, excellent book. So let's go ahead and let's wrap it up. Let me give you kind of my final notes on this thing. Alright guys, so that's going to do it. Yeah, definitely my favorite book that I use for identifying fish in the saltwater here in Florida. I love the little drawings and the very little detailed points and the numbered points that correspond to the drawing, because it's really, really easy to see what to look for in the picture that you took of your fish. And I love how basically each species has at least one real life photo, but a lot of the species, at least the harder to identify species, they have several different pictures of the same fish, kind of in the different phases, maybe like different coloring patterns. So it makes it really easy. A lot of the other books I've seen, they have either drawings or just one picture, and then not every fish, not every individual within the same species looks the same, especially in some of these fish species like parrotfish and wrasses, where they change coloration from juveniles to the kind of transitioning phase, and then their terminal adult phase. They look really different, and this book does a really good job in not only pointing out the very key features that distinguishes that species from a different species, but also showing you the different pictures of live fish, so you can kind of see for yourself what those guys look like. So yeah, this is definitely my favorite book for identifying reef fish. Now this one covers, by this point, you know, Florida, Caribbean, Bahamas, but the authors of this book have many other books, basically the same exact way as this. So this one obviously covers the area that I live in. I also picked up a couple other books that I do have. So I have Reef Fish Identification of the Tropical Pacific. Now the only difference between this book and the Florida book is that this book does not have those little drawings. Let me just show you the inside real quick of one of these pages. It has pictures of all the fish, but it doesn't have the little detailed drawing, which I do kind of wish that it had, because that's one of my one of the main things that I like about the Florida book. Even so, this also is the same exact style besides those little drawings, and it is super thick even without those drawings. So there are definitely a whole lot more fish species found in this part of the world than in the Florida, Caribbean, and Bahamas. So I guess they kind of had to do that unless they wanted to make this book like 3 times as thick. And then the other one is the thinnest of the 3. This is California to Alaska, and this is the same style as the Florida, Bahamas, Caribbean book. It has the pictures, and it has the little drawing right here on the side. So all 3 of these books are really good. I believe they also have one that's California to Baja, Mexico, which is, I would assume, in the same style. I don't have that one. And they also have reef creatures and coral, I believe. So these books are made more for like divers and reef enthusiasts rather than fishermen, but it all does the same thing for me. It doesn't make a difference. So yeah, my favorite book for identifying the fish that I catch down here in the salt waters of Florida. Definitely recommend it. Pick up whatever edition you can get. This is the 3rd edition. I don't know how many editions there are now. This one's a little bit older, but it still gets the job done. So anyway, hope you guys liked it, and I will see you next time.